Hello everyone, welcome to today's story. Have you ever been in a situation where love and sacrifice collide? What happens when you have to choose between your heart's deepest desire and your sense of duty? In today's story, we follow Alex, a man with a heart full of love, who offers everything for the woman he loves. But will Tuna accept his love? Or will she push him away for the sake of her pride? And here's the twist. What if the child she's been carrying for so long becomes the reason Alex shows his true feelings? Stay with us till the end, because you won't want to miss the unexpected decisions that will change their lives forever. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and help us reach 10,000 followers, so you won't miss more stories like this. The evening sky painted the horizon in soft shades of orange as Tuna arrived at the farm. Her heart tightened with every step she took, the land she once knew so intimately, now unfamiliar. The farm, once rustic and untouched, had been transformed. The rough, uneven ground was now smoothed over with fresh concrete, and in every corner, there was something new. A fan gently spinning, light bulbs hanging from the ceiling, casting a warm glow throughout the room. It all seemed too perfect, too deliberate. Her eyes lingered on the changes, her fingers tracing the new mat on the floor, a mat she hadn't seen before. Did Alex send someone here? She wondered aloud, her voice barely a whisper. The thought of him made her stomach twist with a bitter-sweet feeling. She knelt beside her sleeping child, a wave of gratitude mixed with guilt washing over her. He's always thinking of us, she thought, her heart softening at the thought of Alex's kindness. Despite everything, she felt undeserving of his care. The thought of how much he had done for her, fixing the farm, taking care of every small detail, filled her with both warmth and sorrow. But as she sat in the quiet space, her child cradled in her arms, she realized that something was missing. Even though the farm looked so much better, she felt more like a guest than a part of this place. The changes felt like a reminder that she didn't truly belong. She sighed deeply, torn between the comfort of his care and the feeling that she could never truly be what he hoped for. Alex had always been someone who put others before himself. Even now, though wrapped in the demands of his busy life, he never let a moment pass without showing that he cared. He had sent people to the farm to fix it up, to make it livable for Tuna and her child, though he never asked for anything in return. His concern for her went beyond the repairs. He had ensured that every corner of the farm was as comfortable as it could be. The warmth of the fan blowing softly across her face made Tuna pause, her thoughts drifting to Alex. She couldn't deny his kindness, his unwavering thoughtfulness. But the more she thought about it, the more she felt the sting of her own inadequacy. She had rejected him. His love, his offer to share his life, all of it. Alex, she whispered to herself, her voice thick with a mixture of regret and guilt. I can't be the woman you want. I'm not the right person for you. She thought of her past, her failed marriage, her child, the life that had led her here. She wasn't what Alex deserved. He was young, full of promise, and surrounded by people who could offer him so much more. When Alex arrived, his eyes full of concern, his voice calm, she knew it was coming. He would ask her again, plead with her to stay, to accept his offer of a future together. But Tuna, feeling the weight of her own self-doubt, knew she couldn't allow herself to say yes. "I can't stay," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't deserve you, Alex." The night settled over the farm, its peaceful quiet only broken by the distant sounds of the night animals and the soft rustling of the trees in the wind. Tuna sat alone, holding her sleeping child in her arms, her mind whirling with the weight of the decision she had just made. She couldn't stay with Alex, not like this, not when her past was so tangled, so full of mistakes she could never undo. She had to go back to the farm, back to what she knew, back to a life where she could be alone and independent, even if it meant struggling. At least there, she could feel like she wasn't holding anyone back, especially Alex. Alex's kindness, though overwhelming, made her feel small. Every gesture, every effort he made to make her life easier felt like a reminder of how much he had done and how little she had to offer in return. The pain of knowing she could never be the woman he needed became unbearable. Alex deserves someone who can give him the future he wants, she thought, her heart aching. Someone who's whole, who doesn't come with so much baggage. As she looked out into the night, the idea of returning to the farm seemed like the only choice that made sense. It wasn't easy, but it felt like the right thing to do. She stood up, gently placing her child in the crib, her eyes lingering on his peaceful face. "Mom loves you," she whispered, "and I'll make sure we have everything we need. I owe it to you. I owe it to us." The next morning, the farm was bathed in soft sunlight. Alex stood at the doorway, his gaze lost in the distance as he watched Tuna prepare for her return to the farm. His heart felt heavy, not because he didn't understand her decision, but because he couldn't help the way he felt about her. Every part of him wanted to beg her to stay, to tell her that she didn't need to carry everything alone. But he knew better. He knew that Tuna's pride, her sense of duty, would never allow her to accept what he was offering. He walked over to her, his steps slow, deliberate. His heart was caught between wanting to respect her wishes and the overwhelming urge to take her into his arms and promise her that everything would be okay. "Tuna," he said softly, his voice filled with the weight of unspoken words. "I understand. I want you to know that I'm here for you and your child. Always." Tuna paused, her back still turned to him. She clenched her hands at her sides, her heart torn. She wanted to believe in what Alex was saying, wanted to trust that his love was enough. But deep down, she still felt undeserving. "I'm fine, Alex," she replied, her voice shaking slightly. "I just need to go back to the farm. I can't stay here any longer." But Alex wouldn't let her go without giving her one last gift. He walked toward her, pulling a small piece of paper from his pocket. "I've made arrangements," he said quietly. "You don't need to worry about the farm. I've arranged for everything. I want you to focus on your health, and I've made a decision." Tuna looked up, confusion and doubt in her eyes. "I want to adopt your son," he continued, his voice steady. "I've thought about it, and I want to be part of his life. You're not alone in this, Tuna. Neither of you are." Tuna froze, the words hitting her like a wave. For a moment, the world around her seemed to blur. The farm, the sunlight, and even her own breathing faded as she focused entirely on Alex's face. His expression was sincere, his eyes full of something she couldn't quite place. Determination, love, and perhaps a little sadness. "You want to adopt him?" Tuna whispered, barely able to grasp the enormity of his words. Alex nodded slowly, his gaze unwavering. "Yes," he said quietly. "I want to adopt him. He deserves a father who will be there for him, and I want to be that person. He's part of you, and you're part of me. And even if you can't be with me, I will always be here for both of you." Tuna felt a knot tighten in her chest. The offer was so unexpected, so selfless, that she didn't know how to respond. She had always felt like a burden to Alex, someone who had nothing to give in return for his kindness. But this was more than she could have imagined. "I can't," she started, her voice breaking, but Alex placed a hand on her shoulder, gently silencing her. "You don't have to say anything now," he said softly. "I just want you to know that I'll be here, for both of you." She looked down at her son, who was now awake in his crib, his small hands reaching out as if he already knew the weight of what was being decided. Her heart wavered between her fears and her hopes. She knew that her decision would change everything. It was more than just about the farm, or about Alex's care. It was about a future that she hadn't dared to dream of. "Alex," she whispered, her voice trembling, "you don't know what you're offering. I can't take it." "You don't have to take it," he replied gently. "It's not about what you can or can't give. It's about what we can offer together, a family." The room seemed to close in on her as Tuna stood frozen, her mind racing. Alex's words echoed in her ears, each one carrying more weight than she could bear. A father. Alex wanted to be a father to her child. It was a gesture so grand, so beyond anything she had ever expected, that it left her feeling both undeserving and overwhelmed. She turned her gaze toward the window, watching the sunlight filter through the trees. The farm, the place where she had spent so many years of her life, suddenly felt like a foreign land. The quiet here, the solitude. Was it the right choice for her? Was it really what she wanted? She could feel the warmth of her child's tiny hand in her own, and the image of Alex's steady gaze, full of love, full of promise, kept invading her thoughts. "I can't," she whispered under her breath. "I don't deserve this." Alex had given her everything without asking for anything in return. But in her heart, she knew that she couldn't just accept his offer without resolving the conflict inside herself. She had always believed she was destined to carry her burdens alone, but Alex's generosity shattered that belief. The thought of being with him, of building something together, seemed too far out of reach. How could she, someone who had failed so many times before, suddenly open herself up to this kind of life? "Am I ready for this?" Tuna thought, tears welling up in her eyes. "Do I have the strength to let him in, to let us become a family?" Turning back toward Alex, she saw the kindness in his eyes, the patience that seemed endless. And for the first time, she wondered if maybe, just maybe, she wasn't the only one who had been carrying all the weight. "I don't know if I can give you what you want," she whispered, her voice shaking. "But I'll try." The silence between them lingered for a moment, heavy with the weight of unsaid words. Alex stood there, his eyes fixed on Tuna, as though he could see the battle she was waging within herself. He had always been a man of action, but in this moment he knew that no gesture, no words, could change the depth of her inner conflict. It had to be her choice, and all he could do was stand beside her, offering his support. Tuna's gaze fell to her child, who was now peacefully asleep in the crib, his small chest rising and falling with every breath. A quiet tenderness filled her heart. She had come so far, and yet there was so much more to face. The fear of the unknown, the fear of accepting help, the fear of being vulnerable. It all seemed too much to bear. But as she looked at her child, she knew that she couldn't keep running from what Alex was offering. "I've never been good at accepting help," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I can't do this alone anymore." Alex stepped forward, his presence a calming force. "You don't have to. You never have to be alone again." Tuna met his gaze, and for the first time, she felt a warmth spread through her chest, an unfamiliar, comforting feeling. She didn't have all the answers, and he didn't know what the future would hold. But in this moment, she realized that maybe it was okay to lean on someone else, to trust that things could be different. "I'll try, Alex. I'll try to be the person you believe I can be," she whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of her promise. Alex smiled softly, the corners of his mouth lifting with relief and affection. "That's all I've ever asked for." Together they stood in the quiet of the farm, surrounded by the love and the life they would build, one step at a time. And just like that, the path ahead for Alex and Tuna is forever changed. Their choices, their sacrifices, and their unspoken love have led them to a new beginning, one filled with hope, uncertainty, and the promise of something more. What will the future hold for them? Will Tuna fully embrace the love Alex has to offer? Or will she continue to fight her own fears? Only time will tell. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us, and together, we'll reach 1,000 followers soon. Stay tuned for more stories that touch the heart. Until next time, take care and remember, sometimes the hardest decisions lead us to the most beautiful destinations.